Hey, welcome everybody to our second week of our online college fair. My name is Sam. I'm with Homeschool Connect Expo, and the whole month of February we are doing on top of our regular 300 exhibitors for everything homeschool. We also have 80 plus colleges and universities on a online college fair all of February, and so about every day during the week, we are bringing in a college or university and speaking with them. So that way we can get to know them a little bit more. But go to Homeschool Connect Expo and to see the expo, and you'll be able to get right on to the online college fair, look through their exhibitor pages. Everybody has videos and pictures and information and links out to their place. And these are just not only people who accept homeschoolers, but they welcome homeschoolers with open arms. So these colleges and universities, but today we have Reese Tabor, and he's with the Southwest Baptist University in Missouri. And let's bring him in and have him kind of introduce us a little bit to himself and about his university. So hey, Reese, how's it going?
Going well, doing all right. How are you guys doing?
Hey, not too bad, not too bad. Hey, anybody watching this, you can put your questions in, that you have anytime, and I'll get those on YouTube, Facebook group, and Facebook page, and all the links that we're speaking about is right below as well too. So, hey, Reese, thank you again for being a part of this and the Southwest Baptist University. Can you introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit more about the university?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So, like I said, my name is Reese. I am a senior admissions counselor here at Southwest Baptist University. For those who may not have heard of our university before, we are in Bolivar, Missouri. So Bolivar is in the southwest portion of Missouri. So if you know where Kansas City is, we're about 2 hours south of Kansas City. So that's kind of where we're pretty centrally located in the United States. We are about 25 or 30 minutes away from Springfield, Missouri, which is the third largest city in the state of Missouri. So that's kind of where we are geographically. We are a smaller university at about 13 to 1,400 students in regards to the total enrollment for the undergrad here on the Bolivar campus, but we have over 80 different areas of academic study. So even though we are a little bit smaller university, we still have practically every single area of study that you might be interested in studying as regards to going to a higher education university. We have master's programs, we have doctoral programs, and we have pretty much any and every major interest across the sciences, mathematics, computer sciences. We're one of the few Christian universities with an accredited cybersecurity program. We've got forensics chemistry. There's zoology. If you want to be a PE teacher or education in general, we're one of the most successful education providers in Southwest Missouri. We have a doctorate of physical therapy program. We have just a general biology for if you want to be a biology teacher, if you want to go into the sciences, or if you want to be a doctor, whatever that might look like. There are so many different ways from an academic perspective to get involved. But what sets SBU apart most in my mind, what sets SBU apart is the family environment that we have. Not only do we love having homeschool families on campus, but there are about 10% of our total student body is homeschoolers. And so there are a lot of homeschoolers on campus running around. I was one of those. I was homeschooled all the way through. I went to kindergarten public school, but so I wasn't a purist in regards to the homeschool pedigree. But first grade through 12th grade, I was homeschooled, absolutely loved it. And whenever I was going through my senior year, I had the benefit of having an older sister who had come to SBU. So I kind of had an idea of what that looked like. But when we were going through that process with my older sister, there was the admissions counselor here that worked with my family one-on-one to make it easy and to make it possible, to make it simple to get my sister to the university, and the same thing whenever I came. And I attended SBU from 2013. Actually, I graduated high school 2013 and I took a gap year. And then in 2014, I started attending SBU, graduated in 18, and I've been working in the Office of Admissions ever since. And I have absolutely loved it. I work with homeschool families all the time. I travel around to a lot of classical conversation groups to do a presentation that you'll see a little bit later in this video. But overall, SBU is a family. The faculty and the staff here care for the students at an incredible level, from making sure that you have every single thing you need to be successful academically, but also they want to make sure that you're successful spiritually and emotionally and just personally. They want to get to know you. They'll write you reference letters. They'll help find jobs. Whenever I was graduating, I thought that I was going to go off and get my master's degree right after I graduated. And so I applied to 2 different master's programs, and the president of the university actually wrote me a reference letter because I had worked with him a few times as a student. So where else can you go where you can work with the president of the university and they'll write you a reference letter to your master's programs? And I did get in, but God didn't exactly have it in that time in his plan for me to go at that time. And so here I am working as an admissions counselor. But that is a really, really, really short, condensed version of the university. There's a lot of great things that you guys can learn about it. If you are interested in learning more about the university, go to our website, go to our YouTube page. It's just Google Southwest Baptist University and you can find us. You can find pretty much everything. But Sam, I'll turn it back over to you. Maybe we can hit a few questions and we can talk about some other fun stuff. And then, like I said, I got a short presentation. Just navigating those waters between homeschool and higher education can be kind of crazy. And hopefully the presentation that I have will make it just a little bit easier to navigate some of those waters.
Well, and you went through that, and I think that's a testament of the university, that you had, a one-on-one and counseling to help you and your sister get in and get going, and that's why I love, and that's why I really wanted to do this college fair to let people know all the different things, because if you've never been to this part of the country of Missouri, it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. You got the Ozarks not too far away, and you got all these gorgeous areas.
Mm-hmm.
The small towns, everybody's so nice.
Oh yeah, lots of lakes, lots of good fishing.
Hunting.
And then we're close to Kansas City, which is one of the most culturally diverse cities in the Midwest. So it's a little bit of everything.
And when I was looking at your videos, you go to the exhibitor page, on the Homeschool Connect Expo and then the website and the YouTube, I was watching some of the videos, and that's one of the things that I saw in the videos that came across is you had mentioned it. It was kind of like a family environment, like the even the food area.
Yeah.
Kind of a family environment. And it just, like everything around there is I think with 10% homeschoolers and everything else, and it really brings in this family thought. So I think everybody's going to feel very comfortable, there and it just really comes across on the videos,
Mm-hmm.
very well. But the one of the questions is the South. How old of a university are you? It goes back.
Yeah, 1887 is when we were established, and we were actually established a few towns over, about half an hour away, in 1887, and then we moved from there in 2 years after that to Bolivar, Missouri. So we've been in Bolivar on this location since 1889. But since 1887, we've been a university. And then we started out as a college. And then in the 60s, we transitioned to become a university. And we've been accredited ever since we've been at that university level. And since 2001, we've been recognized as one of America's best college buys. And there's actually an organization out there called the American Council of Trustee and Alumni. And they evaluate the general education core for practically every university in the United States. And SBU was the only university in Missouri to receive an A+ rating on our general education core, and we're one of 25 schools in the nation to meet all their requirements in order to receive an A+ rating. So definitely a pedigree of academic excellence for sure.
Yes. Okay, another question, nursing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love talking about our nursing program. So SBU is comprised of a couple different campuses. So the Bolivar campus is the main one. And then we have a campus in Springfield, which is just a few minutes down the road, about 25, 30 minutes down the road. And a number of years ago, a couple decades ago, we partnered with a local hospital there, a fantastic hospital system, to create a nursing school. And so we have had hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands and thousands of nurses at this point go through that program. But that program was mainly designed for students who wanted to come back and finish a degree, or non-traditional students. We had a lot of undergraduate undergraduate students really wanting that nursing experience as well. So we renovated a corner of one of our buildings and essentially turned it into a hospital. And we now have basically a fully operational clinic. It has every year we accept 30 students into the nursing program, and so every single year we take 30 different students. Here at the Springfield location, we take about 400 down at the Springfield location, but here in Bolivar we'll take about 30. And what that looks like is it gives students the opportunity to come in right out of high school and go through the first 2-3 semesters, like playing a sport or being involved in another activity, speech and debate or theater, whatever that might be, and just doing all those normal quintessential college things. And then during their 4th semester, they begin working in our learning resource center, that clinic that we have that has high fidelity mannequins, mid fidelity mannequins, that has incredible teaching staff that essentially when you walk in, it feels and smells like you're in a hospital. The only difference between our location and an actual hospital is that there's not actual oxygen flowing through the suction tubes, but that's something that we can easily switch and easily change. And when actually last March, whenever COVID was becoming a crisis, the university was identified as a location that could become overflow hospital space if need be. But thankfully, we didn't have to get to that point. Yeah. But the nursing program is a 4-year undergraduate degree, and you graduate with your Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. So it's a BSN in nursing, and it prepares you to sit for the NCLEX, which is the big, scary certification exam that all nurses have to take before they can become a nurse. But just the facility that we have. And if you want to learn more about it, go look. We have a video on our nursing facility. It is world class. Like, we have examiners come in to certify the nursing board, and they come through and they come in, and our facility is ranked as one of the top nursing facilities in the region. One of the reasons for that is because we utilize a number of different medical mannequins. So like as nursing students are practicing, as they're learning how to take blood or to give an IV or to put in a trach tube, whatever that may be, we have so many different mannequins, male, female, children, adults, all different ethnicities, just preparing students to learn on pretty much every single body type. Whereas a lot of nursing programs, they'll just buy one like mannequin, one type, and they'll get like 6 of them. And then that's what everyone has to learn on. And so students become really adept at that particular body type. But if they go out to a different part of the country or different part of the world, it's a little bit of a learning curve. But ours prepares students for literally anywhere in the world. And we have a great relationship with the hospital here in Bolivar and the 2 hospitals in Springfield. And we have first preference in residency hours or the clinical hours. And so a lot of times students go through nursing school, have to do really hard hours for their clinicals, like late at night, whatever that might look like. But we generally get first preference. And a lot of times this can be done during the day, during normal school hours. So I love talking about our nursing program because it is so cool and it's so state of the art. But yeah, if you want more information on that, send us a message, send us a question, find us online, and or come and visit and take a look because we love showing it off too.
Yeah, I mean, I watched one of the videos and I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away of the little clinical area, or not little. I mean, the clinical area. I mean, it was amazing. And one of the things I was thinking, before this, looking into, the university a little bit more, is I didn't know about the cybersecurity, and that's really cool for like nursing in a Christian environment, cybersecurity in a Christian environment, that you usually don't find those things, and what a cool way to be able to get into a Christian university, and have that, and then really high end studies.
Yeah,
the nursing and cybersecurity. I mean, that's I'm just blown away. The more I get to know, about the Southwest Baptist, University, the just how amazing, and how top notch everything is. So,
yeah, and
that's awesome.
I'll share just a little bit about the cybersecurity program because that's another program I really love talking about. So cybersecurity, when we announced it 4 years ago, was our fastest growing degree when we announced it. And we are one of when we created it, we are one of only 6 Christian universities in the nation to have a cybersecurity program. And our computer science program, just that the cybersecurity program was built off of, the computer science program is ABET accredited, which is, again, one of only very few few Christian universities in the nation can achieve A BET accreditation. So in regards to like what we're building off, the computer science is great. And in our computer science program, we have 100% job placement rating. Like as soon as students graduate, they get a job with our computer science program. But with the cybersecurity, it is a fascinating course of study because it introduces a lot of psychology as well as social engineering or penetration tactics, or like what scammers use for phishing techniques. Like it's all these really fascinating things that deal with the cognitive issues as well as the computer issues. But just one story. So I've got a very good friend who's going through the cybersecurity program, and for an internship, she worked with a government contractor in Maryland. And we actually can't disclose which contractor she was working for, but she received top security clearance, and she was working for the government in a very high position in regards to the to cybersecurity. And then she actually just accepted a job with them. And so that's what her full-time occupation is going to be, is doing cybersecurity for the government, for an organization that cannot be disclosed. We've got a number of our students who have gone on, and we can't talk about them anymore, which is a bummer. But
but that's cool.
It is a very, very cool experience. And we have a number of students every year who end up at organizations like the DoD or FBI or CIA or private contractors. So yes, it is. It's a very, very exciting, very unique program at a Christian university.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unique, and it's one of those industries that, fortunately, unfortunately, it's going to be growing, and it's going to go away. And there's going to be more and more need. And I love being able to send kids and homeschoolers and everything else. This lot of going to a Christian university, getting that, but yet getting this high end thought. I mean, it's very rare. It's very rare. So I give you massive kudos, to the university for being a part of that. Why don't we do the presentation and grab some more questions, and after the presentation we'll hit a couple of them and everything. So
okay, sounds good. I appreciate it. All right. So like I mentioned a little bit earlier, this presentation was designed for families who have sophomores, juniors, seniors, even some freshmen, that as you're going through that homeschool experience, there's not a lot of information out there for homeschool families to navigate those waters between homeschooling and higher education. So this presentation outlines three different things, three different categories and ways that you as a family, you as a homeschool family, can prepare for higher education. And I like to share this with every student that I work for. SBU is an incredible university. I love SBU. But if God is calling you to a different university, and obviously God's not calling every single one listening to this to come to SBU, I definitely get that. I am more concerned about getting information in the hands of homeschool families to equip you to go out with knowledge and go out with an expertise that you can approach a university in every part of the country, every part of the world, with knowledge and with at least a little bit more firm footing. So navigating between homeschool and college. Private and public schools have counselors. They have guidance counselors, and they have people that their entire job is to work with homeschool families or with those public school families and get them to college. That's their entire job. But for the most part, within the homeschooling world, there's not as many individuals like that. A lot of times it's up to parents or friends of parents to help them kind of get that information, or there is not information and they just go to a college or a university and just try and figure it out from there. And sometimes that experience is good. Sometimes the experience is a little bit hard. So here are three things that you can be doing now as a homeschool family. Even if you're homeschooling littles, you can be preparing now for higher education. So step number one, or category number one, is academics. So in regards to academics, there's a number of different ways to be preparing now for higher education. Overall, so our website here, sbuniv.edu/homeschool. So this is a page specifically created for homeschool families. And we worked very hard to put a lot of resources on here and a lot of good information in regards to what homeschool families can expect and what you can work through as you're going to a university. So a lot of the information that I'm going over in this presentation is also on our website. So take a look at that if you want more info. Probably the most used thing on that website is the easy transcript template. So this is a template that we created to help families create a high school transcript. So that's one of the biggest things that homeschool families struggle with when they're trying to figure out how to apply to university, is that they've never seen anything or heard anything or been told anything about a transcript. It's like, okay, what has to be on a transcript? How's it calculated? All this fun stuff. So there's an Excel document on our website that anyone can use for any university, whether it's SBU, whether it's anywhere else, it doesn't matter. And it's a very simple, easy transcript template that identifies the 4 different semesters of high school, and it helps calculate a GPA. And it even has an option if you're doing AP or dual credit classes or any of those honors programs to add like a weighted GPA as well. So there's a lot more information on our website about the template. So in regards to academics, what you can be doing now, there are 3 standardized tests that most universities accept: the ACT, the SAT, and the CLT. So the CLT is kind of the new kid on the block, and that's the classic learning test. And I can say it is growing rapidly among homeschool communities and private school communities. But the CLT is starting to be accepted at more and more universities. So SBU accepts the CLT, and there's a growing number of universities accept the CLT. But I would encourage you, if the CLT is the only one that you're planning on taking, be sure you're looking at your universities around you or the ones that you're considering, and make sure they take the CLT. Otherwise, you might be stuck having to take the ACT or the SAT. Now, with COVID, a number of universities have gone to test optional, which means that they're not as concerned about an ACT, SAT, or CLT. Whether that persists or whether it goes back to the old way of always looking at those standardized tests, it's important to start your students on taking these now. I took the ACT for the first time in 8th grade and got a pretty bad score, but I took it every year after that and increased my score to a pretty good level because I'd taken it so many times, because I'd done some prep work. So you can put your 8th grader into one of these tests and just see where they're at. I was working with a homeschool family last week who their 14-year-old got a 31 on the ACT. And now they're looking at doing college work and doing college work simultaneously as she's finishing up high school. So it is good to just kind of get that benchmark and see what's going on. There's also a lot of online dual credit options. So within SBU, we've created a set of classes that we specifically created for homeschool families. And they're meant to supplement the courses that you're already teaching within your coursework to your sophomores, juniors, and seniors. But you can get college credit for doing these classes. And if students do 2 dual credit classes through SBU, we'll give them a $2,000 scholarship, just on top of everything else that they're getting. And then there's also CLEP tests and AP tests. So I utilize a lot of CLEP tests, and that's an acronym for College Level Examination Program. I can't remember what the P stands for. And it's an acronym, and it stands for CLEP. I can't remember what it exactly stands for, but CLEP is essentially taking a final for a course you never took. So I took the CLEP for sociology, and I bought a prep book. I read the prep book through, and I studied for about 2 weeks. And then I went in, I took the test, and then I got 3 hours of college credit. The beautiful thing about CLEP tests is it's pass-fail, so it's not graded. So I could get a 51% on the test and pass, and I get 3 hours of credit as a pass credit, not as like an F or a B or a C, whatever that might look like. So this is great if you have students who are real passionate about a language or about a science or about something like sociology or literature, language, whatever that might look like. CLEP tests, you can do some online searching, see which ones are out there, and then at kind of the similar with the CLT, there are some universities that don't accept them, or some that only accept some of them. So be sure to look and coordinate with the university that you're looking at. Okay, and the last one is advanced placement, AP, and I'll add another one on here, International Baccalaureate. So AP and IB credits are very similar in regards to CLEP or dual credit classes. They offer the chance to get college credit while in high school. So academics, these are things you guys can be doing now with your littles all the way up through your seniors to get them ready for higher education. So number 2, financial aid. This is where we get most of the questions as an admissions counselor. So in regards to financial aid, what in the world are we talking about? Okay, so in most of the world of financial aid, there's 2 different spots. One is scholarships, one is a lot of questions about the FAFSA. So I'll talk about that in just a second. So scholarships, there's the way in which most universities calculate scholarships is some combination between a standardized test and high school GPA. Putting those 2 together generally comes up in a matrix, and that's what academic scholarship a student will receive. And then since we've been doing some test optional stuff, SBU has just been utilizing the GPA. So that's one way to build a scholarships, is the academic scholarship. And at SBU, everything stacks. So if you get an academic scholarship, then you could put these next ones on there. Athletic scholarships. So as a homeschool family, you are able to receive athletic scholarships, especially if you're doing a sport at a really high level, like football, basketball, baseball, whatever that looks like. I've had a number of my friends personally growing up who were homeschooled and got athletic scholarships from a Division I or Division II school. And there's a number of my friends here at SBU that were homeschooled, and they did athletics in homeschool. So athletics is a great way to pay for school. Church-related scholarships. So at SBU, we have scholarships just for families who have a parent who is in missions or ministry. And we have scholarships for that. We also have a scholarship for anyone who wants to study in missions or ministry. So if you come to SBU, you want to be a pastor, you want to be a missionary, you want to do something in theology, then there's a $2,000 a year scholarship just for having one of those majors. Like I mentioned, that dual credit scholarship, and then performance-based scholarship. So I came to SBU to do speech and debate. That's what I did through middle school. That's what I did through high school. I love speech and debate. If any of y'all are listening, a part of the speech and debate program, I did both NCFCA and then I graduated with STOA. And I loved it. And so I came to SBU. I did speech and debate. Real quick plug, SBU does have the winningest speech and debate team in the nation. We have 12 national championships and on dozens and dozens of state championships. So it's a very, very successful team. And so I came to be a part of the team. That performance-based scholarship is what helped pay for school. We also have performance scholarships for theater, art, and music. So if you've done orchestra, choir, band, anything like that, you can get a scholarship for that. And so at SBU, all those things stack up. And then you have the FAFSA. So the FAFSA is an acronym for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And if you're not familiar with the FAFSA, it is just one of those big, long things that you have to do before most universities will give you a financial aid package. It opens October 1st every year. So if you're a senior, then you fill it out October 1st of your senior year. By filling it out, it connects your family's income and finances to the university so that the university can see, okay, this is how much this family can contribute towards college. It creates a number called the estimated family contribution. And it takes that number and essentially the universities build the financial aid packages around that. It makes government loans and government grants available. So whether that's a state loan or a state grant or a federal grant, there's a lot of different options there. And if you are curious, just to kind of find out if you're a family of a sophomore or junior, not time to fill out the FAFSA yet, then every single university that accepts the FAFSA has to have a cost estimator tool on their website. So if you just Google Southwest Baptist University cost estimator tool, or whatever university that might be, cost estimator tool, you can find that tool on their website, and it lets you put in your income and some other information like that, and then it spits out an estimate of what they think the university might cost for you. So that is a very, very little bit of what the FAFSA is and what the scholarships are. But financial aid essentially is just combining all that together, and then you take all that financial aid and you subtract it from the cost, and then there you go. There's your total. So that's financial aid. There's some more information for you guys in regards to that. And the last one that I want to talk about this morning is extracurricular activities. So what you're doing as a homeschool family impacts your college experience. So I put speech and debate first because that's what I did, because I love speech and debate. But speech and debate is a great way to get experience. Even if you're not competing in speech and debate in college, then doing it in high school develops critical thinking skills, public speaking skills, and the availability to just think on your feet quickly, which is a lot of good skills that you need while you're in college. Also, music is a great way to prepare for a college or university, because even if you're not on scholarship, there's a lot of ways to participate with music in a university. Athletics, just being a part of a team, just being a part of something that is bigger than you is a great way to focus on something that is beyond just your individual self. And that allows you to come into the university from a perspective of, okay, how can I benefit the team in regards to what can I do to benefit the university? And if you are involved in a team when you come to SBU, it's like that built-in friend group. And I know I love that whenever I came to speech and debate, because there was that group of speech and debate students that I was already friends with, and it was awesome. Also, student life and campus events. So these are activities that are a lot more available in college, but there are a lot of different activities that we plan. So if you're involved in student council, or if you like planning parties or whatever that might look like, there are ways for you to keep doing that in college. And missions or being involved in like a youth group or a church, it's kind of the last one that I want to bring up here. And missions at SBU is incredibly important. So depending on the year, we're the largest or second largest mission sending school in the nation. So we'll send between 20 and 30 teams all over the world every single year. In the last 5 years, we sent over 1,300 students to every single continent except for Antarctica. So no mission trip to the penguins. But we have an incredible focus on missions, and we have actual degree that is just fully focused on missions. And part of the degree requirement is to go spend 6 months abroad in some other foreign country or foreign culture. So all these activities that you can do in high school, that you can be involved in high school, can translate to things that you can be involved in college that'll help with that transition to that college experience. And every single one here can provide opportunities for missions, or for missions. I was looking down at missions, for financial aid, for scholarship. So if you're involved in something, if you're passionate about something, if you have students that are really loving one aspect of an extracurricular, then just do a little bit of looking. Odds are you can find a scholarship for doing that in college. And then lastly, I want to leave you with just the big idea of going and visiting. The best way to learn about colleges, to learn about universities, is going and seeing campus and meeting with professors. And if you can, sit in on a class, see the dorms, and you'll very quickly find out whether you like big schools or small schools, whether your student is passionate about the sciences or about the arts. And it's easy to just come on campus. And I know for me, in my experience, I just knew, like, as soon as I stepped foot on campus and I was starting to walk around, I knew like, this is it or this is not it. And everywhere else that wasn't SBU wasn't it. And I think it was just one of God's ways just to reinforce that I was supposed to come to SBU. But go and visit. And so that's the presentation. That's kind of the walking through of the weirdness between going through high school or as a homeschooler and then trying to figure out how in the world to turn that into college.
I love it. There was so much great information, on there. And Reese, I really appreciate, not only just, the Southwest Baptist University, the information, but that right there was really good for homeschoolers and homeschool parents and kids, for all the information. I mean, like the FAFSA and that was that was overwhelming. The
FAFSA is overwhelming, and it's just
it really is, but
it's just long and there's numbers.
But when that could, and I love what you said. Of course, God's not going to call everybody there, but it was information. That's one reason why I like the homeschool community and the you growing up in it. But I appreciate that presentation because I had a lot of information about, what to do, just what to do, what to expect. And so I really appreciate that. That really was a great presentation, about
Thanks.
Southwest, but then also, just in general, about the homeschool, because it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, it definitely can.
Excuse me. So you are having real campus visits and tours.
Yeah, I meant to make a comment about that when I mentioned that, but SBU has been able to maintain visits practically the entire time. We are institutioning like social distancing and making sure everyone passes a temperature test and like a questionnaire before they're able to come on campus. But yes, we have in-person visits, and actually for students who are admitted to SBU, if you're 100 miles or further from the university, we'll pay for you to come and visit campus. Oh, wow. So we'll offer travel reimbursement. Depending on how far away you are is how much we'll be able to offer in travel reimbursement, but we'll pay for gas, we'll pay for lodging, like whatever that looks like, up into a certain dollar amount for however many miles you travel. So we definitely do want families to come and visit campus and see what we're like. We have visit events, and we have online visit events as well for families who are too far away, or maybe aren't able to make an in-person visit. But we have personal visits every single day. And if you're interested in visiting campus, just look on our website. There's a big button on the top of the screen that says visit. Just select it and you can look at either group visit events or individual visit. Like if you just want to come on a Tuesday and just want to see what campus is like, then you can register for that. So yes, we're definitely doing visits. Now, I know a lot of schools out there aren't able to do visits because of either they're not in session or they're not able to, local health boards aren't allowing them
Mhm.
to have visitors on campus. But I've been very, very thankful that SBU has been able to stay open. So fall of 20, and then this spring we've been in person. So all of our instruction has
That's
been in
great.
person. And for everyone who does have to quarantine, then we have online options for them. So our students are able to continue that in-person instruction, as well as if they need to do it online as well. And I think we've pivoted and done a really, really good job in order of keep making sure our students can still have that in-person experience, because education that is removed, that's remote, is just different than in-person education. And so I could talk a lot more about that, but I'll let you ask more questions.
No, all the the questions I had, you just kind of answered, in the presentation, about dual credits and the missions and everything. So yeah, and that was the only one, was making sure you had live on campus,
For sure.
so yeah, I think everybody that's watching and watching this live or afterwards here, go take a look at the exhibitor booth. There's a ton of videos and a virtual tour already on there with pictures and information, and then of course links out to the website. And they have a wonderful website that has a ton of information. I love that you have a homeschool section as well too. So
Yeah, I was actually going to ask. I've got it pulled up. Do you mind if I share my screen
oh
real
yeah,
quick and kind
yeah,
of show the
definitely.
homeschool section? Yeah.
Awesome.
So this the homeschool page is something that I am real excited about. That's something that we, like I said, we have created just for our homeschool families. So on our main web, this is just the homepage. So under academics, there is I'm sorry, under admissions. Under admissions, it's kind of like all the information you need as a senior coming, or a junior senior coming to the university. But there's this option over here that says homeschool students. And so then this takes you to our page just homeschool families. And as soon as it loads, there you go. Okay. So it has a video on here, so this little blank spot is going to be a video loading. It doesn't like me sharing my screen. So this video here is pretty similar to the presentation that I just gave of this transitioning from college to high school. So if you want more information on that, you can go watch the video again. But there are the admissions requirements, like what it takes to get admitted to the university. And for homeschool students, is you have to have a 2.0 or 2.5 on your GPA, and to have the equivalent of a 21 on the ACT or a 68 on the CLT, or a 1060 on the SAT. So there's those admissions requirements right there. And if you haven't or couldn't take a standardized test, then it's just a 2.5 in the GPA or up, which my experience with homeschool families is I've not really met many homeschoolers who are below that 2.5 range.
No.
And generally speaking, our homeschool students are our highest academic students on campus. So just generally speaking, homeschool students do all right. And then you'll find our homeschool transcript template right here. So this is what I was talking about. So you download this template, and it has the breakdown of what you can expect on a high school transcript for what many colleges and universities are wanting. And I'm trying to pull it over onto this side. There we go. Okay, so it's a blank template that has a couple different options. So you can put your classes over here, the GPAs, and then there's a couple different tabs that let you fill out your own blank one, and then there's instructions on how to fill that template out. So, and you can take this to any college, any university, any job, and they'll accept it. And so there's a lot more information on there. There's information on those dual credits, but more or less that's the gist of what's on that page. But go explore, go have fun, and if you have questions, our phone number's on there, and you can call us, email us, and we'll be happy to talk about more information.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, Reese, I really appreciate your time and everything that you do for the homeschool world and community. I really appreciate that as well too. I mean, that just shows your heart and on top of the Southwest Baptist University, so everybody take a look at it. I mean, highly impressed, with everything you guys offer and do. Reach out to them, click on the link to get out to the website and really start having that conversation. And man, that whole page devoted to homeschool students. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's awesome that the university has taken the time to do that for the homeschool students. So, but yeah, is there anything else before we sign off that we might have missed that you want to kind of mention?
Nothing other than I love my time at SBU. And I could spend all day talking about how God grew me spiritually, about how I grew emotionally. I met my wife here. There's so many incredible things that God did for me while I was on campus, and I love being in the spot where I can work with families and homeschool families to make their way to the university and to experience what I did, and to just get a little taste of what this family is like, because it is a family. The professors are sometimes more concerned about your spiritual and emotional health than they are your academic health.
Wow.
But at the same time, they'll give you all the tools needed to succeed in your academics. I just want to share two really, really quick stories and we can sign off. My junior year, my dad had a heart attack, and he's doing a lot better now, but there was a week where it was really scary, it was really uncertain. And all my professors, who most of them had met my dad before, were more concerned about my dad and me than they were about me making a test or making a grade. But at the same time, though, they gave me all the material that I needed, and when I came back, I wasn't behind at all. So that was just a really, really cool moment of just like, I felt loved, very, very loved from my professors. And then the other real quick story is I was a communication major. So I studied talking and writing, wrote lots of papers. And I just had one math class in college. That was it. That's all I had to take. And my college algebra class, I never had the professor before, Dr. Kevin Hopkins. And we were going through the second test, and I missed a question on the test. And I just missed it, just went right past it. And he found me later and said, "Hey, Reese, I saw you miss this question. Do you want to try for it?" And I tried for it, and I got it right, and he gave me full points. But he went out of his way for a student that he had never had before, because he noticed that I missed something, and I at least tried on everything else. And so it's just going above and beyond. And
Wow.
that is not an isolated event. That happens all over campus. But yeah, SBU is incredible. SBU is a wonderful place. So come visit, come check us out. Give me a call, shoot me a text. All our information is on the website. But yeah, I'll be super, super happy to talk more about the university.
Awesome. Hey, appreciate it, Reese.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thanks for the time.
Thanks for everybody watching this, and we'll see you guys later. All right, appreciate it.